Welcome to my YouTube channel, Daniel 11:33. Today, we are looking into the popular teachings of the Daniel 2 statue and the Daniel 7 beasts that rise up out of the sea. Mankind says one thing about this statue and these beasts, and God says another thing. Let us read the Bible and get understanding. So we begin with the statue. The statue was a head of gold. Then there was a the chest and arms of silver. Then you had the thighs of bronze. And then the legs of iron. So the head of gold, King Nebuchadnezzar, he was the king. And then the countries or nations that follow, they all fall in line. You had Media Persia, you had the Grecian, and then you had the Romans. Now let's look at this and break it down. The gold is an element. That golden element changed to silver. That silver element changed to bronze, and then that bronze changed to iron. Each time the nations would change, then the iron element became stronger, all the way up into the iron, which was very strong. And it devoured, it trampled. And this legs of iron, this nation was in place when Jesus came the first time. This nation will be in place when Jesus returns. How do we know that? Well, the Roman Empire is the nation of the iron. That's the Romans. And when we look at the feet, it says the feet was mingled with iron and clay. So from the legs of iron, when we get to the feet, the iron or the metal doesn't change. It remains the same. Then there's an addition of the clay, the miry clay. But they don't adhere. So it's not a strong union, but this is a union that will be in place when Jesus returns. Let's look at Daniel 2, verse 35. And it reads, "Then the iron, the clay, the bronze, the silver, and the gold were crushed together and became like chaff from the summer threshing floors. The wind carried them away so that no trace of them was found. And the stone that struck the image became a great mountain and filled the whole earth." Now, you have these nations. They rise to power, they're defeated, they fall. But they will all fall when Jesus returns. Jesus returns, strikes them, and they all collapse. They are like chaff, just blown away. Right? They just blown away. And in verse 41, let's read verse 41. And it says, "Whereas you saw the feet and toes, partly of potter's clay and partly of iron, the kingdom shall be divided. Yet the strength of the iron shall be in it, just as you saw the iron mixed with ceramic clay, and as the toes of the feet were partly of iron and partly of clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly fragile. As you saw iron mixed with ceramic clay, they will mingle with the seed of men, but they will not adhere to one another, just as iron does not mix with clay. And in the days of these kings, the God of heaven will set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed, and the kingdom shall not be left to other people. It shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever." Now, when we look at the kingdoms, these beasts, when we look at these beasts or this statue, the metals, they are kingdoms. We know they're kingdoms because the interpretation tells us that Nebuchadnezzar, you are the king of gold. Then another kingdom comes. So these are kingdoms. But the feet of iron and clay, the 10 toes, they will be here when Jesus returns. So we just read that these toes will be here when Jesus returns. It will be here when Jesus returns. So now we have to piece together Daniel 2 and how it intermingles with Daniel 7. Okay, so we know that the 10 toes, the iron mingled with clay. The clay is the religious element of the Roman Empire. And I had a lesson where we talked about this. The Roman Empire became the Holy Roman Empire in 800 AD. In 800 AD, Pope Leo III crowned Charles the Great, or Charlemagne, crowned him, and he became the ruler, the leader of the Holy Roman Empire. The Holy Roman Empire began in 800 AD on Christmas Day. So now we are here with the Holy Roman Empire. So that kingdom went all the way down to the Holy Roman Empire. The clay is the holy element, it's the church. But this church was not a church of Jesus Christ. Okay, this is a backslidden church. Backslidden church. So we know that the iron and clay mingles, and they will not adhere. They will not be strong. Okay, it's going to be brittle, but they are going to come together, and they are going to rule the world. Just like church and state. There's no cohesiveness there. But this cohesive unit gets its power from one source. And that one source is going to have them strong enough to do what it is intended to do. Now, the Daniel 7, when we get to Daniel 7, it's not a statue. Daniel 7 is a beast out of the sea. Beast out of the sea. And they are all different from one another. They are all different. Okay, they're different. Remember that. You have the lion with eagle's wings. Then you have a bear. And then you have a leopard with 4 wings of a fowl. And then you have a 10-horned beast. Now this leopard is a 4-headed leopard. It's a 4-headed leopard. And you have a 10-horned beast. Now, these beasts, when they come up out of the sea, they are separate. Okay? And these beasts are kings. These beasts are kings. And we know this because the Bible tells us that these beasts are kings. And because we know that they're kings, we know that they're kingdoms. Because you can't have one without the other. No kingdom without kings. No kings without a kingdom. Then you had a little horn that comes up, had eyes like a man, and spoke pompous words. So you have a horn like a man, spoke pompous words that comes up out of this beast. Remember, you have a 10-horned beast. It has 10 horns. So this beast has 10 horns. This beast had 10 horns. And those 10 horns are kings because they had crowns. These are 10 kings out of this one beast. So these are 10 kings that are unified, that come together. Okay? Y'all with me? These 10 kings are unified, that come together. Then you have one horn come up out of the 10. They're going to uproot 3 of those. And he's going to rule that beast, that kingdom, that beast, that 10-horned beast, which is a kingdom. And he made war with the saints. The Bible tells us that he makes war with the saints. This beast that comes up with eyes like a man, speaking pompous words, he makes war with the saints. This is what he does. So now, let us look at verse 24 and 25. Let's really get some understanding here. Let's get some understanding. Verses 24 to 25. And it reads, 10 horns are 10 kings. Another king comes up, removes 3. Okay? And the pompous words against God, he speaks pompous words against God, and he persecutes the saints. Okay? He persecutes the saints. Now, he persecutes the saints. Look at what it says. It says, he persecutes the saints for times, and half a time. So, time is 1 year. Times is 2 years. Half a time is half a year. So you have 1 plus 2 is 3, and half a year is 3.5 years. You have 3 and 1/2 years. And then Jesus comes and destroys this kingdom. He comes and destroys. So we know that this kingdom, this little horn that uproots the 10 kings, we know that Jesus comes and destroys them. So he's going to be in place when Jesus returns, because the Bible tells us, okay? So we know that he's going to be here when Jesus returns. And we know that the 10 toes are going to be in place as a kingdom, a ruling kingdom, when Jesus returns, because we just read that, okay? The stone comes and strikes the statue, those 10 toes. Those 10 toes are the same kingdom. Those 10 toes are the 10 crowns or the 10 horns on this beast that comes up out of the sea, with the lion, with the bear, and with the four-headed leopard. Okay, so we know that the 10 toes are going to be here. We know that this one-horned beast is going to be here. The one-horned beast. So now let us move from Daniel 7. Daniel 7, remember, Daniel 2 is the statue. Daniel 7 are beasts that come up out of the sea. Now, it's been taught that the beast out of the sea, Daniel 7, is the same as the statue. That's King Nebuchadnezzar, the gold kingdom. He is the lion. That's what being taught is. He's the lion. And then we have the Grecians are the bear. The bear raised up on one side. You have power on one side because, you had the Medes and the Persians. Then you had this four-headed leopard. You got this four-headed leopard. So now it's being taught that the four-headed leopard is Greece, because when the king died, Alexander the Great, when he died, his 4 kings took over. And then we're all in agreement with Rome being the 10-horned beast. But let's look at this a little deeper. Let's go to Revelation 13. When we go to Revelation 13, okay, move your Bibles to Revelation 13 and let's look at Revelation 13. Revelation 13, there is a 7-headed beast. A 7-headed, 10-horned beast. It says it's a 7-headed, 10-horned beast. And it is like unto a leopard. Okay, like unto a leopard, with the feet of a bear and the mouth of a lion. So now, these individual beasts in Daniel 7 are now one beast. That leopard, that four-headed leopard, the bear, and the lion. They have come together. And now it's considered a 7-headed beast. Okay? Because remember, you have the four-headed leopard, you have the lion, you have the bear, and you have the 10-horned beast. That's another, has 7 heads. So now they are combined. And the dragon gave this beast its power. So now we know where the power comes from. The dragon. And who is the dragon? The dragon is Satan. Okay, now watch this. You remember time, times, and half a time. Now we're given that same study. We're given that same information. But now the power is given to them for 42 months, which is 3.5 years. Okay? Now, what's going to happen is they are going to worship, the world is going to worship the dragon through the beast, because the dragon gives the beast his power. The dragon gives the beast his power. So you're going to worship the beast, which is Satan, through this one-horned beast. So then there's a two-horned beast. There's a two-horned beast that comes up, and it says it's a two-horned beast like a lamb, but he speaks like a dragon. He speaks like a dragon. So he looks like a lamb, but he speaks like a dragon. And he's going to have the same power as the first beast. Same exact power. So what are we looking at? We're looking at the one world government system that's going to rule the world. And the king that comes up and uproots those 3 among those 10, that horn is the Antichrist. And then you have the 2 horns like a lamb, speaking like a dragon. That is the false prophet. That's your religious side. That is the clay. So you have the iron mingled with clay. He comes up out of 10. That's all the Holy Roman Empire. He's going to come up out of 10, uproot 3, and he's going to have an alliance with the lamb that speaks like a dragon, which is the religious leader. So whoever is the Pope at the time when all this happens, when that temple is built and the Antichrist is identified, when he goes and calls it the abomination of desolation, whoever the Pope is, they already have a relationship. That Antichrist, false prophet, he is going to have the same power. He's going to have the same power as the first beast. As the first beast. You got the 10 toes, iron mingled with clay. The 10 toes, the Antichrist and the Holy Roman Empire. Then you have the false prophet, whoever the Pope is. Okay? So the Iron Kingdom is going to be mingled with the church, the false prophet. Let me share something with y'all. This beast that comes up out of the sea, we know that these beasts are combined. So listen to me. It's right here in the Word. Go back to the Bible. You're listening to me, but read the Bible. This is a Bible study. this Bible study, we are reading that the Daniel 7 beasts that come up out of the sea in Revelation 13, they are the same beasts, but now they are combined. The statue, Nebuchadnezzar, the Medes and the Persians, Darius, Alexander the Great, and the Roman Empire, they never mingled together. They never came together and ruled the world cohesively at one time. That never happened. One dominated the other and took over. But this beast won't be dominated until Christ returns. Christ returns and destroys them. They're going to be combined, hooked to the hip, and they're going to fool the whole world, and you included, if you are not following Jesus Christ. Do not follow these antichrists. Their power comes from Satan. Do not follow them. Stay with this channel, because we will update you. Every time something comes in the news, we're going to update you. Do not follow these antichrists. This is the best, most exciting Bible study on YouTube. So follow us, subscribe, like us, share us with everybody. Okay? Now, let's look at Revelation 14:9. Revelation 14, verse 9, and it reads, "Then a third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if anyone worships the beast and his image, and receives his mark on his forehead or on his hand, he himself shall also drink of the wine of the wrath of God, which is poured out full strength into the cup of his indignation. He shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb." In the presence of the Lamb. So what is that saying? In the presence of the Lamb, Jesus Christ. In the presence of Jesus Christ, they will be destroyed. So these nations are modern nations that are here today. They will be destroyed when Jesus returns. The beast, the kings of the beasts of those armies, they will all gather together and they will fight against Jesus Christ when he returns. Nebuchadnezzar, Babylon will never be inhabited again. That's what the Bible tells us. Greece, who is Greece? Do you even know where Greece is? Greece ain't making no noise right now. Media Persia is just Persia, and they changed their name to Iran. What kind of noise they making? They are not the same. This is not the same thing. The Bible specifically tells us that these nations will be combined with the Antichrist ruling them, and this beast and those kings that he's leading, they're going to come together. They're going to make war with Jesus Christ. And then the beast and the false prophet, they're going to be captured. And what happens to them? They are cast alive into the lake of fire. For those are the leaders you want to follow, they are cast alive into the lake of fire. And Jesus Christ will rule and reign forever and ever. Do not take that mark. Understand what this is all about. It's about worship. You're going to worship Jesus Christ or you're going to worship Satan. Choose one this day.